All right, everybody, we are back with another division preview. This time we have Raphael, and we'll just go ahead and jump right into the fourth place team. And we both have Dinkman. I'm not even going to call him. I think his name's Covington Pythons, but his name is now Dinkman, even though his name is Dirkman. Everybody should just call him Dinkman. That's his new name. And what more can we say? That trade that he made, even though it was Tim Patrick, and I think he got a rookie wide receiver out of it, it's still a shit trade. They made another shit trade. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about his team anymore. I think I have him going 3-11. Actually, I actually have him winning a couple games. Granted, two of those games are against the same team. But yeah, I have him going 3-11, and I think his team shit, and he makes shit trades, and I don't even want to talk about it too much.
Yeah, my bad. So I didn't realize there was no flex 14 in TRD. So my apologies. I'd have him going 2-11 before week 14, which would put him on par with you, to be honest, is where I have him. Again, he also traded Najee Harris, if you recall. So that was his first pick in the draft. Turns around and trades him for fuck all, really. I'm giving him an F in every single category. But here's the weird thing. He actually did good in the draft. He got Damian Pierce in round 2, and he got Isaiah Pacheco in round 4. Did Dirk, or Dink in this case, actually win the draft? But I'm still giving him an F in every category just because he's had to go on probation, and he's just been a horrible owner. He's a great guy, but horrible owner.
I gave him an A as well. So I gave him an A for drafting. I gave him an F for trading. Next up, we both have the same owner here. We both have the beta, and I have the beta going. I believe it's really close to actually what I just said for Dinkman going 3-11. Actually, that's a lie. I have him going 6-8. I think Dinkman and the beta play in a really tough division. I think Raphael is probably one of the better divisions. Well, the top two teams are definitely the top two teams probably in the league. And then the bottom two teams are probably close to the bottom two teams. I think, though, if Ramiro makes a few trades, if he makes good trades here, he could probably squeeze into 8th, 7th place and make the playoffs. Like, he just needs a couple tweaks, and I think he'd be perfectly fine.
What about you? I think the lineup's pretty solid, to be honest, but I still only have them going 5-8. Again, because like you talked about, there's two teams in this division are tough, and you got to play your division, right? I gave him a B for the draft. I thought Olave at 6, decent pick, but Damian Pierce and James Cook were still on the board. I still like Quay Walker in round 2 as a good IDP pick, even though I haven't heard much of Quay Walker so far this preseason or in training camp, but I still like that pick. I think the lineup's pretty solid, but I just think the other two teams in the division are far more superior. And that's why he's going 5-8.
Yeah, actually, the reason I didn't give him an A, I gave him a B+ was because he took Quay Walker at 2-11. I think there was other players that he could have definitely drafted that would have bolstered up his offense, and then he could have probably moved back into the second round and took Quay Walker if he was really, really wanted him there. Next up, we both have Wolverines going in second place. I have Wolverines going. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. I have Wolverines going 10-4 and finishing 5th because I think he could potentially win this division. I actually have him losing he's actually plays the best team in his division in week 14, and he actually loses that game, and that's why he is 5th going into playoff and not 1st in going into the playoff. But his team's, it's pretty damn good. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if him and Brighton Panthers actually played for the championship. I wouldn't be surprised at all, and that's obviously the guy who is finished first in this division. And yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty good division. Actually excited to watch the Raphael division. Well, at least those two guys in the Raphael division, see how they actually go.
Yeah, I got Chris going 8-5. I think he's a good owner. One of the aspects I like about his team, ripping off Dink for Najee Harris, that was huge. Derek Carr, I think, is going to be one of those guys that's under the radar that's going to have a huge season in Vegas with all those weapons, to be honest. The parts I don't like about his team, I traded him Jalen Tolbert for one of his starting linebackers. Now, when I look at his linebackers, they're weak. And one of the guys he has is Michael Walker, who I know has been taking the starting snaps in Atlanta, but everybody forgot about Deion Jones coming back. So where does that put Michael Walker? So, you know, I think it'll be interesting. I don't think he's as good as Milan's team, and that's why I'm going 8-5. But I do like the team with guys like Kyle Pitts, also a tight end. Let's face it, Kyle Pitts, from all accounts, from what I'm hearing, is an absolute beast, and he is going to be the focal point of that Atlanta offense still, in my opinion, even with Drake London there.
I agree with you there. I gave him a C+. I don't like the James Cook at 107. I think James Cook is a reach, even in the LOC where everybody wants running backs. But however, with that said, the LOC is a 3 running back league. This league is a 2 running back league. So reaching for a running back at 107 is reach, and then taking Adrian Hutchinson at 210. Again, going just like Quay Walker at 211. I think there's better offensive talent that he could have had, and he could have traded back either into 213, 214, 215, or into the like 301 or 302 and taken a decent defensive lineman. Like if safety, who's going to rack up tackles, fine, maybe, but a defensive end, defensive lineman before other people just doesn't make sense in my book. In first place, as we already talked about, we have the Brighton Panthers, and I believe it's actually the Brighton Blueberry Panthers, but we will call them the Brighton Panthers. We're here, and we both have them going first. I think this is probably the first best team in the whole TRD. I'll be honest with you, I'm a huge fan. I have him going 11-3 and finishing first in going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I got him at 10-3 after 13. The reason I like his team, Herbert and Rodgers, a quarterback, that's the main reason. You touched on the 2 running backs here. Like, that's the glaring weakness on his team, though, right? He's got Josh Jacobs, Antonio Gibson, and that concerns me. If this was LOD, I would say Milan's in serious trouble. But with only 2 running backs to start, that helps him here in TRD, because even if he's weak there, he's got all those other guys that could pick up, like DK Metcalf, a wide receiver, Cole Kmet, a tight end, and of course the 2 quarterbacks, which we already touched on. Looks like his IDPs are fairly solid. 10-3 is where I got Milan, but the running backs definitely concern me, and he might want to look at maybe trading some draft capital, shore up the running hole with a team that's selling later on in the year, and then he could potentially be a championship contender if he does that.
Yeah, I have him going. I gave him a B+. As we talked about multiple times now, Christian Watson is not the most talented player wide receiver drafted by the Green Bay Packers. The guy who won in round 4, because Watson won in round 3, Dobbs, is, in my opinion, better. You brought up Gibson. I agree. The problem I have with the whole Gibson, Brian Robinson, is how much is it smoke? How much is it Ron Rivera trying to give Gibson better hands? That's why he's doing punt team versus Brian Robinson actually getting work. But in my opinion, Rachaad White at 202 is a great pick. I think Rachaad White is going to hammer down that third down back roll. He's going to get all those passes from Tom Brady, because Tom Brady loves checking down to his wide receiver, his running backs. Just look at James White. I think that's a great pick there. If he would not have taken Christian Watson and somebody else, I probably would have given him an A. But I just don't like Christian Watson, and I think the guy is a bum.
Yeah, I gave him a C2. Bad Watson, horrible pick, and then he also missed out on Brian Robinson as well. But again, we drafted early, but that's what I love about drafting early in Dynasty, is things happen like this happen after, and that's part of the drama. That's part of the story.
Exactly, 100%.